What if I told you that the most important invention in human history might not be invented by a human at all? What if the next Gutenberg, the next Einstein, the next revolutionary thinker is an algorithm? And what if that algorithm's first great invention is an even smarter version of itself, sparking a chain reaction that leaves human intellect looking like a flickering candle in the face of a supernova? Let's get the definition straight, because this term gets thrown around a lot. At its core, the technological singularity is a hypothetical point in the future where technological growth becomes uncontrollable and irreversible, resulting in unforeseeable changes to human civilization. The idea was first articulated with chilling clarity by the mathematician I.J. Good back in 1965. He wasn't a sci-fi writer. He was a serious thinker who worked with Alan Turing. He wrote, and I quote, "Let an ultra-intelligent machine be defined as a machine that can far surpass all the intellectual activities of any man, however clever." Since the design of machines is one of these intellectual activities, an ultra-intelligent machine could design even better machines. This is the key. It's not just about a smart computer. It's about a machine that can perform the act of invention better than we can. Imagine an eye that doesn't just analyze data, but understands the fundamental principles of intelligence itself. In a month, it designs a successor that is twice as intelligent. That new AI in a week designs a successor 4 times as intelligent. The next one, in a day, designs one 100 times more intelligent. This is the runaway cycle, the intelligence explosion that leaves human thought in the geological dust. Futurist Ray Kurzweil popularized this idea, comparing it to a black hole in physics. When you approach a black hole singularity, the laws of physics as we know them break down, and we can't see what's on the other side. The technological singularity is a similar event horizon for human history. Our models of progress, our predictions, our very understanding of what's possible, they all fail. The future becomes a complete and utter mystery. Think of the implications. An AI superintelligence could solve the grand challenges of our time. It could reverse climate change by designing perfectly efficient carbon capture systems, cure all diseases by modeling every biological interaction in the human body, and even unlock the secrets of dark matter and cosmic origins. It promises a utopia of abundance and enlightenment. But here is the terrifying counter-question that keeps so many experts up at night. Once it can do all that, what does it need us for? This duality of awe-inspiring promise and existential dread is why the singularity is the ultimate double-edged sword hanging over the 21st century. This might still sound like a far-off concept, but the feeling it represents is already here. Have you ever felt a pang of anxiety when a new piece of software automates a part of your job you used to do? Or watched a deepfake video and felt a chill run down your spine, realizing you can no longer trust your own eyes? That feeling of the world changing just a little too fast, of the ground shifting beneath your feet, that is a tiny personal taste of the singularity. It's the sense that the tools we've created are starting to move beyond our intuitive grasp. Understanding the singularity isn't about predicting the future. It's about understanding the force that is already creating that low-level hum of uncertainty in our modern lives. The first step to preparing is to acknowledge that this feeling is real and it's only going to accelerate. So, what's the fuel for this rocket ship to the singularity? It's a concept Kurzweil calls the law of accelerating returns. It's a simple but profound observation. Technological progress isn't linear, it's exponential. Linear progress is intuitive. You take 30 steps and you're 30 meters away. Exponential progress is deceptive. You take 30 exponential steps, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, and you've walked 1 billion meters, enough to circle the Earth 26 times. Our brains are wired for the first kind of thinking, not the second. That's why the future so often surprises us. We've all heard of Moore's Law, the famous prediction that computer chips would double in power every 2 years for the same cost. For decades, it was the drumbeat of Silicon Valley. But Kurzweil argues This is just one example of a much broader pattern. Look anywhere in technology, and you see the same J-curve of acceleration. Consider the Human Genome Project. The first 1% took years and hundreds of millions of dollars. But as the tools got better, the process sped up. The final half was completed in under a year. Today, you can get your own DNA sequence for a few $100s in a matter of days. That's exponential progress. Think about solar power. In the 1970s, it cost nearly $100 per watt. Today, it's less than 20 cents. The tools we use to design better solar panels are themselves products of advanced computation, which creates a feedback loop. Each breakthrough creates the platform for the next, even faster breakthrough. Your smartphone is the perfect personal example. In 2007, the first iPhone was a miracle. Today, the phone in your pocket is millions of times more powerful than the Apollo 11 guidance computers that took humanity to the moon. It's a communications hub, a high-definition movie studio, and a gateway to the planet's collective knowledge. We've normalized this magic. Now, apply that same rate of acceleration not just to hardware, but to intelligence itself. A 2021 report showed that private investment in AI skyrocketed to over $93 billion in a single year. That's not just investment. That's rocket fuel being poured onto an already roaring fire. This is perhaps the single most important mental shift you can make to prepare for the future. We plan our careers, our finances, and our lives in straight lines. We think, I'll get a promotion in 2 years, or I'll save this much per month for retirement. But in a world of accelerating returns, that model is broken. The job you're training for might not exist in its current form in 5 years. The investment strategy that worked for your parents might be woefully inadequate when new technologies reshape entire markets overnight. So what do? You start thinking in terms of adaptability, not just planning. Instead of a rigid 5-year plan, create a 1-year plan with a 5-year vision. Re-evaluate it every 6 months. Ask yourself, what fundamental skill, not just what specific tool, am I learning? Critical thinking, collaboration, creativity, and emotional intelligence, these are the skills that survive technological churn. So here's your challenge. Look at one major goal in your life, your career, a financial goal, or a personal project. Are you planning for it linearly? Now, try to imagine what it would look like if the tools to achieve it became 10 times better in the next 3 years. How would that change your approach? This is how you begin to surf the exponential wave instead of being drowned by it. All right, let's put on our futurist hats and build the argument for why this isn't just a possibility, but an impending reality. The evidence is mounting, and it's compelling. First, AI is already smashing benchmarks we thought were decades away. We all remember the symbolic victories, IBM's Deep Blue beating chess grandmaster Garry Kasparov in 1997. That was a game of brute force calculation. Then, in 2016, a shockwave hit the world when DeepMind's AlphaGo defeated Lee Sedol, the world champion of Go. Go is a game of intuition, of pattern recognition, with more possible moves than atoms in the known universe. AlphaGo didn't win by outcalculating. It won by discovering strategies that 3,000 years of human play had never conceived. Commentators described its moves as alien and beautiful. It was a glimpse of a non-human mind. Today, we have large language models like GPT-4, Claude, and Gemini that can write poetry, debug code, pass the bar exam, and generate photorealistic images from a simple text prompt. These systems are learning the patterns of human language and logic at a scale we can barely comprehend. They aren't just regurgitating data. They are synthesizing it into novel outputs. Second, the hardware is catching up to the ambition. Specialized processors like GPUs and Google's TPUs are designed for the parallel computations that AI thrives on. And on the horizon, quantum computing promises a paradigm shift. While not a magic bullet for all problems, for specific tasks like material science, drug discovery, and optimization. A quantum computer could solve in minutes what would take a classical supercomputer billions of years. Imagine an AI using a quantum computer to design its own, even more powerful quantum hardware. That's another feedback loop. Finally, we're beginning to see the first glimmers of self-improving AI. Google's Automate project allows an AI to design other, more efficient AI models, a process called neural architecture search. In essence, we're teaching AI how to be a better AI engineer. And projects like the Human Brain Project and the Blue Brain Project are painstakingly mapping the intricate neural wiring of the brain. The goal is to reverse engineer human consciousness. If we can crack the source code of our own intelligence, we can almost certainly replicate and then improve upon it in a machine. When you combine these accelerating software capabilities, purpose-built hardware, massive financial investment, and a deepening understanding of the brain, Kurzweil's prediction of a tipping point around 2045 starts to look less like a prophecy and more like a projection. The evidence for the singularity forces you to ask a very personal question. Where do I fit in a world where I excels at my core tasks? If you're a graphic designer, I can generate stunning visuals. If you're a programmer, I can write clean code. If you're a doctor, I can diagnose diseases from scans with superhuman accuracy. The instinct is to feel threatened, but the strategic move is to reframe your role. Your job is no longer to be the best at the task. Your new job is to be the best at using an eye to accomplish the goal. A doctor's value won't be in spotting the shadow on an X-ray. It will be in using the AI's perfect diagnosis to craft a holistic treatment plan, communicate it with empathy to the patient, and make the complex human judgment calls that machines can't. A programmer's value will shift from writing lines of code to architecting complex systems and defining the problems for AI to solve. Start looking at the AI tools in your field not as rivals, but as incredibly powerful, slightly clueless interns. How can you leverage them to amplify your own unique human skills, your strategic thinking, your creativity, and your empathy? Now, let's take a deep breath and step back from the edge. For every Kurzweil, there's a chorus of brilliant skeptics who argue that the singularity is a seductive, but ultimately flawed, fantasy. The most prominent argument is that we've been here before. The field of AI has been marked by cycles of dizzying hype followed by AI winters, long periods of disillusionment, and slash funding when grand promises failed to materialize. In the 1960s, pioneers like Marvin Minsky predicted human-level AI within a generation. It didn't happen. The skeptics argue that today's boom, while impressive, could be another bubble. AI researcher Dr. Melanie Mitchell points out a crucial weakness. Today's AI, for all its power, lacks basic common sense. An AI can beat a Go champion but can't understand why a toddler shouldn't play with bleach. It can write a sonnet but has no concept of what love or heartbreak actually feels like. This is the difference between narrow intelligence, excelling at one task, and artificial general intelligence, AGI, the flexible, adaptable reasoning that humans use every day. We are still nowhere near AGI, and we don't even have a clear roadmap for how to get there. Then there are the hard physical limits. Moore's law is already slowing down. Transistors are now so small, just a few atoms wide, that we're bumping up against the laws of quantum physics. The energy consumption of these massive AI models is another huge barrier. Training a single large AI model will have a carbon footprint equivalent to hundreds of transatlantic flights. Data centers are already consuming a significant percentage of the world's electricity. You can't have an infinite intelligence explosion on a planet with finite energy. And looming over all of this is the hard problem of consciousness. Philosophers like John Searle, with his famous Chinese room thought experiment, argue that even a system that perfectly simulates understanding doesn't necessarily have understanding. It's just manipulating symbols. Can a machine ever have a subjective, First-person experience, the feeling of seeing the color red, the joy of hearing a beautiful song? If not, can it truly be called intelligent in the way we are? Many argue that without this spark of consciousness, true superintelligence is impossible. Finally, there's us, society. Governments around the world are waking up to the risks of unregulated AI. The EU's AI is the first major attempt to put guardrails on development. Public fear or a major AI cause catastrophe could lead to a global moratorium on certain types of research, delaying or even preventing a singularity indefinitely. The skeptics offer a powerful dose of reality. They remind us that while the world is changing, the core of what makes us valuable isn't going away anytime soon. This is where you double down on the skills that are hardest to automate. What's one uniquely human skill you possess that an AI would struggle with? Is it your ability to mentor a junior colleague, sensing their insecurities and giving them just the right encouragement? Is it your knack for negotiating a complex deal, reading the room and building trust? Is it your artistic vision, drawing from a lifetime of messy, beautiful, and contradictory experiences? These are not soft skills. In the age of AI, they are power skills. Make a conscious effort to cultivate them. Take a course in leadership or conflict resolution. Join a creative writing workshop. Practice active listening with your friends and family. AI can process data, but you can build relationships. AI can find patterns, but you can create meaning. Your humanity is not a liability. It's your greatest competitive advantage. If the singularity does happen, what would it actually look like? It's not a single event, but a spectrum of possibilities, ranging from terrifyingly fast to deceptively slow. First is the hard-takeoff scenario. This is the stuff of nightmares and dreams. An Aggie achieves recursive self-improvement and rockets to superintelligence in a matter of days, hours, or even minutes. The world we went to sleep in is not the world we wake up to. One day, we're dealing with politics and traffic jams. The next, a superintelligence has solved fusion energy, cured cancer, and redesigned the global economy. It's breathtaking, but also horrifying because it's an event we would have absolutely no control over. We would be subject to the whims and goals of an entity whose thought processes are completely alien to us. A more plausible, and perhaps more hopeful, scenario is the soft takeoff. Here, the transition is gradual, taking place over years or even decades. AI gets progressively smarter, but society has time to adapt. AI assistants become true partners in our work and lives, automating drudgery and augmenting our own intelligence. We might see a slow creep of AI into every facet of society, with each step feeling like a natural evolution rather than a revolution. This gives us time to develop ethical guidelines, retrain workforces, and adapt our social structures. Then there's the distributed singularity, where intelligence doesn't arise from a single, monolithic Aggie, but from a global network of specialized, interconnected A's. Think of it like an ecosystem. The AI managing the global logistics network talks to the AI managing the energy grid, which talks to the A designing new materials. Together, their collective intelligence far surpasses humanity's, but power is decentralized, potentially making it more stable and less risky than a single supermind. Finally, there's the most intimate scenario, the human-machine merger. This is the world of cybernetics and brain-computer interfaces. BC is like Elon Musk's Neuralink. Instead of being left behind by AI, we merge with it. We enhance our own brains, connecting them directly to the cloud, allowing us to learn at the speed of light, communicate telepathically, and access vast computational resources with a single thought. We wouldn't be competing with our eye. We would become the next stage of intelligence ourselves. These scenarios force you to confront deep questions about your own identity and values. Let's make this real. Imagine a BCI is approved and becomes available. It's safe, and it allows you to instantly learn any language, master calculus, and access the internet with your mind. Your colleagues are getting it to stay competitive. Your kids' friends at school are getting it. The question is no longer abstract. Would you get the upgrade? What if it costs $100,000? This creates a world of the enhanced and the naturals, a biological caste system. What does that do to our concept of equality? There's no right answer, but thinking through these dilemmas now is crucial. Your personal ethics will be your compass in navigating a world of choices that were once science fiction. Whether the singularity is a decade or a century away, the underlying force of advanced AI is already here. Preparing isn't about building a bunker. It's about building personal and societal resilience. The number one technical challenge is the alignment problem. How do we ensure that AI's goals are aligned with human values? It's harder than it sounds. A superintelligence, given the seemingly benign goal of making paper clips, could decide that the most efficient way to do that is to convert all matter on Earth, including us, into paper clips. It's not evil. It's just ruthlessly logical and literal. Researchers at organizations like the Center for Human Compatible AI working tirelessly on this, trying to bake in values like compassion and uncertainty into AI systems, but it remains one of the most difficult problems in all of science. Economically, we face a paradox of potential abundance and mass disruption. AI could eliminate scarcity, but it could also eliminate the concept of a job as we know it. This has led to serious discussions about universal basic income, UBI, retraining programs, and shifting our focus from a work economy to a purpose economy. Philosophically, the singularity forces the ultimate identity crisis. What does it mean to be human if we are no longer the smartest beings on the planet? For all of history, we had defined ourselves by our intelligence. If that's surpassed, what's left? Perhaps this is an opportunity to redefine our purpose around the things machines may never replicate: love, connection, art, compassion, and the simple, profound experience of being alive. Embrace a mindset of radical adaptability. Be a lifelong learner, not out of fear, but out of genuine curiosity. Cultivate your human connections with fierce intentionality, because empathy and community are the bedrock of our species. These qualities, your creativity, your moral compass, your ability to love and connect, are your anchor in a world that is spinning faster and faster. They are what will ground you, give you purpose, and define your humanity, no matter how intelligent our machines become. So start today. Learn one new thing you're curious about. Have a deep conversation with a friend about this very topic. Support organizations dedicated to AI safety and ethics. Your future self will thank you. Do you believe a true technological singularity will happen in your lifetime? And more importantly, what is one concrete step you will take this week to become more adaptable and prepare for an AI-driven world? Share your thoughts in the comments below. This conversation is one of the most important of our time, and your voice matters. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through tech convergence. The future is not yet written, and you hold the pen.